Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. We're going to work in chapter 16. This is the book of Gregory Mankiw. During this chapter, this is about monopolistic competition. The book is Principles of Economics, and we are going to work from exercises 1 to 5. So the first question says, among monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic competition, and perfect competition, how would you classify the markets for each of the following drinks? Okay, basically we already have seen the basic characteristic among those markets, so definitely we at that time we can classify them according the different groups that we already mentioned. So the first one is about tap water. I would say that this is more monopoly because when you open your tap, basically you just have basically one provider for all building. It doesn't work like there are different of your neighbors and they have different providers of tap water. So when we talk about that, this is more about natural monopoly. Why? Remember about the definition of natural monopoly is when the fixed costs they are so high. So when they are so high, this is definitely a barrier to entry because other companies, in order to establish and set up a company, they should build again pipes, they should build again different kind of constructions in order to set up a new tap water provider, which should be like high cost, and it should be even harder for people in general. So for this reason we talk about more about the kind of natural monopoly that market. Bottled water, well, it depends. I guess that you can classify depending your arguments to support the idea. From my point of view, I would say that it's a perfect competition if we consider the meaning of perfect competition as the same good, the same price, the same characteristic of cost modeling for each company, a lot of providers and a lot of consumers. Then at that time we can consider that it should be an homogeneous good, because obviously you can think about different brands that they provide for their vitamins or for their for their ingredients to improve the taste of the water, the quality of the water. So if you say about that, we are talking that this is more related with monopolistic competition. But I understood as the same water, it would be that this is more like perfect competition. The cola, basically, I would classify them as a oligopoly. Sorry for the typing mistake, oligopoly. Okay, oligopoly basically because there are few firms that they provide this kind of good. Even obviously there is a difference between the products. There are just like few of them that they provide them. So the most representative one, they are Pepsi. There are Pepsi and Coca-Cola. But definitely there are further others providers that they provide a similar taste, a similar idea, that you can consider them in the set of these kind of beverages. So basically, I would say that is more oligopoly because there are few companies that they provide this kind of good. The beer, definitely it's monopolistic competition. You can find whatever when the market, different grades of alcohol, different quantity, different taste, different origin, different breweries that they prepare in different way. The beer, even the places when you can take them. I would say that this is monopolistic competition, different price. Any beverage they have like kind of market power depending on the position that they are in the market. So the position that they have, like kind of the market share that they are in the company, in the market. Second, classify the following markets as perfectly competitive, monopolistic, or monopolistically competitive, and explain your answers. The first, wooden. Number two, pencils. Again, it depends on your arguments, because I would say that it should be maybe a monopolistic competitive, um, because maybe you can find different colors, different qualities, different quality of wooden, different prices, different size. So if you say something like that, I would say that it's okay. But from a point of view, I would say that it's more perfect competition because it's straight. This is just like wooden made and the number two pencil, so there's no further specification, so it makes that as a perfectly competitive, just the same good, a lot of producers and a lot of consumers. Copper, this I would say that is more the perfect competitions, because anytime we talk about raw material, they obviously they have not been processed yet. So basically it does mean that those products, they are basically the same. Is how they are taken from the earth or from the mine or from the different processes, natural one. So then all raw materials, because we don't talk about any particular difference between them, they would be more as a perfect competition. Local electricity service, if we don't have another electricity service in that place, there is the unique, the only one, the provider that they can provide this kind of service, it should be definitely a monopoly, because you don't have any other takeover that it will be on the market. So definitely we just have one and a lot of consumers, so we're kind of closer to monopoly. Peanut butter, I would say there's more a monopolistic competition because you will find different brands, different tastes, different prices, different sizes, and different conditions that make you kind of a different product between them. And lipstick is basically really similar to peanut butter, because you have the lipstick, which it fulfills the same kind of service, but at the end of the day, we can think about them as a different product, because again, the quality, the colors, the additives, all this stuff that make different. I'm not really into lipstick, but I would say that this is definitely a different product. Third, for each of the following characteristics, say whether it describes a perfectly competitive firm or a monopolistically competitive firm, both or neither. So here we have just two: competitive firm and monopolistically competitive firm. Sells a product differentiated from that of its competitors. I would say that is more monopolistically competitive firm, because when we talk about perfectly competitive firm, we are talking more about homogeneous good. So there isn't any difference between them. So definitely should be more related with monopolistically competitive firm, where there are again a lot of consumers, a lot of producers, but there is a slight difference between the products that is offered to the market. Has marginal revenue less than price? It should be more monopolistically competitive firm. When we talk about the marginal revenue price, basically we're kind of talking about the marginal, kind of the markup of at each company. Remember the definition of marginal revenue. When we talk about marginal, we talk about every single time that you change the order value in one unit, what happens to the other one. When we are talking about marginal revenue, we are talking about one additional unit sold, then how it should change your revenue. Anytime this additional revenue is higher than the price, then the idea you're kind of losing money. The idea is like the price should be higher than the marginal revenue. Why? Because basically it guarantees that for any additional unit you still will be gaining, or you still will be earning money. So then the marginal revenue is less than price is the case monopolistically competitive firm, because the other case, the perfectly competitive firm, is because it's homogeneous. They are the consumers, they are price takers, but the producers as well. So they don't have any power to the price. So at the end of the day, they should be the price equal to the marginal revenue. Any additional unit sold, it represents exactly the same as the price. Definitely the benefits should be 0 for the perfectly competitive firm. So here we have the representation of the firm makes profit. So these are the curves. So remember, demands, this is downward slope shaped, because they have market power, different from the perfectly competitive firm where they don't have any market power. So any change of the price, it will face an infinite change of the quantities. If they charge a higher price, no one will buy them. So then here in the competitive and the monopolistically competitive firm, the demand is downward slope, and the margin revenue is kind of sloper than the other one, than the demand. Then you will charge exactly the quantities when the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. Then it means when the additional unit that it costs you, it should be the same that you receive it. So it should be the optimal one, because any point right over here, it means that you will be losing money because your marginal cost is higher than marginal revenue. And here you are losing the capacity, because here marginal cost is lower than the marginal revenue, so you are still earning money for each additional unit produced. So then definitely it should be this the region one. So then you can reflect that point to the demand. It should determine the price. Okay, so then we are here in a situation where the marginal revenue is less than the price. Next one, earn economic profit in the long run. Neither one, because perfectly competitive firm, even in the short run, they don't earn money. And the other one, the monopolistical competitive firm, in the short run they earn money, but in kind of the long run, the idea is like, due to there are no barriers to entry, more and more companies will enter into the market. Until the end, everyone should be in the point where the price equal to marginal revenue, and then at the end of the day, no one will reflect economic benefits. Okay, different to account benefits that we discussed in previous chapters. So then D produces at the minimum of the average total cost in the long run. This is the picture that we already saw before in the previous slide, and this is the situation of perfectly competitive firm. So here, this is the minimum one. Okay, this is like kind of the efficient scale, but the monopolistically competitive firm, it produces around here, where the average total cost is higher, and then this is kind of not the minimum. So then the minimum of the average total cost in the long run, we are talking about perfectly competitive firm, where we are here, because this is the quantity produced in equal to the efficient scale and better output for the society as well. So definitely this is what we are talking about, more perfectly competitive firm. So equate marginal and revenue marginal cost, and the other one charges a price of marginal cost. Again, we can visualize this answer in these two graphs. So the first one equals marginal revenue marginal cost. We have here the situation, definitely both, so they should be both. And last one charges a price above marginal cost. We are talking more about monopolistical competitive firm, because the perfectly competitive firm, it charges when the price is exactly equal to the marginal cost. Then faces a downward sloping. This is another one. So fourth, for each of the following characteristics, say whether it describes a monopoly firm, a monopolistically competitive firm, both or neither. Faces a downward sloping demand curve. So here we are talking about monopolistic competitive firm because they have market power. So for this reason, demand is downward slope. But it's important to notice that this is the same case for the monopoly firm. They have a demand which it has like downward sloping demand curve. So then the other one has marginal revenue less than price. So here marginal revenue less than price. This is both of them, they have market power. Obviously, it's considered that monopolistic or monopoly firm, they should be a higher markup because they have a complete differentiated product. I mean, they are the only one that they produce this good or service. So for this reason, it makes like a higher control to the market, and they can charge a higher price, different from the case of monopolistically competitive firm where they should charge a price which is still higher than marginal cost, but the difference, the markup, should be definitely smaller than the monopoly one. Then faces the entry of new firms selling similar products. We're talking about a monopolistically competitive firm because the monopoly firm is just one, and if there is another competitor, it shouldn't be anymore a monopoly. Okay, then we are talking about monopolistic competitive firm. Earned economic profit in the long run. We're talking about monopoly firm because no one enters into the market, so they will be earning still the same money as in the short run, different from the monopolistically competitive firm where there aren't barriers to entry and more companies will make that your demand will be reduced, and then when you have this kind of reduction of your demand, at the end of the day you will face benefits equal to zero. And equates marginal revenue and marginal cost. We're talking about both. They have this as the quantity to decide, then it should be refracted to the demand to establish the price. Produces the socially efficient quality of output. Neither. Just the perfect competition is the only one, the unique condition of market structure that they can provide a social efficient quantity. The last one, you are hired as a consultant to a monopolistically competitive firm. The firm reports the following information about its price, marginal cost, and average total cost. There aren't any information, but we are going to figure out how we can handle with that. So can the firm possibly be maximizing profit? If not, what should it do to increase profit? If the firm is profit maximizing, is the firm in a long run equilibrium? If not, what will happen to restore long run equilibrium? So basically those are the ideas when we have different conditions, relationships between price and marginal cost. So we would need to verify which is the condition of the kind of the monopolistically competitive firm. What is condition about price? And we are talking about the long run. So definitely the price shouldn't be lower than marginal cost because they should be losing money. But price margin higher than margin cost. That's right. This is the condition of the monopolistically competitive firm. Price equal to margin cost. This is more the condition about the competitive firm or perfectly competitive firm, and the last one price equal higher to margin cost. So we're talking about B and D as the condition of the long run equilibrium. And then in the long run, remember the price exactly equal to average total cost. Why? Since there are no benefits, the income, which is reflected as total revenue, which is price times quantity, it should be exactly the same as the total cost. That it should be the total cost at that time, the quantity times, or the average total cost times the price, and then you will have this one, the basically the value of the cost. So here we have the price and quantity produced. This should be your total revenue, and your total cost should be the price times the average total cost. Okay, so then this one, if you reflect this one, this is the average total cost, and you multiply by the quantity, you will finish on the total cost. So then the total revenue is equal to total cost, benefits equal to zero. So we are talking more about the part. Okay, I hope it has worth for you. As every time I say, this is like my point of view. All the time you say it should be better if we can talk in that way. It should be done in that way. It should be great for me to have these kind of comments. That's all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.